What is up, everybody? My name is Kyle Matovcik. I am the host of the In Liberty and Health podcast, where we talk all things liberty, health, and wellness, and beyond. My hope is to encourage and spread the message of liberty and physical and mental well-being. I hope you enjoy all the topics we talk about with our guests. We're on all major streaming platforms, so please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Man, I'm doing as good as anyone can do getting buried by his 13-year-old son on leg day.
I'm not going to apologize for not being on this podcast because I got to go see Metallica. So if that's a problem, kiss my ass. Okay? All right.
It's going. There we go. All right, everybody. This is In Liberty and Health. We're doing things a little bit different tonight, and I'm super excited to have everybody here. So we'll start bringing up our panel here. Let's see if I can get this right. Nope. I guess we're just rolling with it.
Here we are.
I got Reed, Toad, Clint, and Jose. We'll start with Reed. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about you, sir?
Oh, dude, fantastic. This is like your 28th time on the show. Like I said, you got a residency here. Toad, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I love doing shows with Reed because then I don't look like the most homeless person on the show.
I don't know.
So.
Right now, you're... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
both
Clint-
homeless. Yeah. Get Adam
Clint-
Kokesh in here.
Oh, God, no. I don't need to hear any more about veganism or suntanning his nuts or, what the hell ever it is doing, microdosing and doing squats in the desert. Clint was just on just the other day, and Jose, glad to have you back on as well, man.
Thank you. Reed's looking extra disheveled and very post-coitus is what he looks like right now. Very sweaty. Yeah.
It's really the extended collar on the shirt that makes it particularly
kind of
sexual.
stretched out.
Yeah, you never want to say he's post-coitus when you just did a podcast with a minor, so.
Yeah.
You desperately need to throw that shirt away, Reed. As your gay lover, I can't have you dressing like that.
I just changed the oil in my pickup right before I went on Adam's show and then came here, so I'm sorry. It was just no time.
The shirt actually has holes where the nipples are, so easier accessibility.
I can just take the shirt off if it makes you feel better, Clint.
It would.
Well, I did throw up a tweet today, and surprisingly it got a lot of traction, where I said I would send nudes, and apparently a lot of people didn't like my answer when we finally got to 1,100 followers, because I just put nudes in a tweet, and apparently that wasn't good enough.
I considered when I saw that saying I'd post nuts and just post my I don't know if you guys remember my
You've done that before.
Exactly. I was just gonna reuse that one where I posted nuts before an accident. Like I don't care. Like
On accident.
it was totally an accident. I posted I don't know why.
Wait. Can I ask the question? How do you accidentally post a picture of your nuts, and why do you have a picture of your nuts on
Just
your
ask
phone?
Hunter Biden. It's the same idea.
I was about to explain. I had I don't remember exactly why, but it was on my last account, and it was forever ago. For some reason, I posted a nude as like I don't know if it was some sort of joke or some shit. And
You were replying to Rob and Dominic, I believe.
Was it? I don't remember. There was a
I
joke.
don't
It was like
remember
a joke about someone said something about like post nudes, or I think I was like a joke grifting, like kind of like, hey, come to my Patreon, you'll see more, or some shit. And like I fucking what the hell?
It's the best comment I've ever seen there.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Was that Tom from MySpace?
I put a bar over my dick, and like I kind of purposely did it like really large to make it look like it was like covering a huge dick, and I didn't realize it wasn't covering my balls. so like I accidentally completely posted balls on the timeline.
You told us this story like 6 months ago, and I still don't believe you. There's no way you fucking cover up your schlong, but you don't remember to cover the balls. I don't believe
you know how women, it's just got to be the nipples that are covered. Like you can show everything else. It's just the nipple. Like where's the line on a dick? Is it the whole thing, or is it just like past the foreskin?
I feel like the balls are okay. Like that's like not off limits. I feel like you could show those off, but like when you start showing the shaft, then people get freaked out. Because if you watch anime, they always
the tip is a definite no-no.
No,
right?
you can show the whole dick except the dick hole. That's the equivalent.
The dick hole, yeah.
Well, if you have a foreskin and it's not all the way erect, like it could, then the line gets confusing. But
if you see the picture, though, you can kind of tell. Like, you have to look for the balls because it's like kind of dark lighting, and like you can't really tell until you're like, are those balls? Like. And then, like, the closure, like, holy shit, those are his balls, because it's kind of like dark lighting. You see,
you don't have to tell Reed and I to look for the balls.
I had
No,
for a minute for some reason.
I'm very, I'd been waiting to share that one for a while because that was like my only nude in my phone because I don't know why. There was one day.
See,
me and
the
my
truth
wife,
comes out.
Yeah,
He's been waiting to share
Yep.
his nudes for a while.
Yeah, there's my wife for some reason, I don't know why, we decided like we were just I think talking one night about like how to get the perfect nude, and then she was like, or for as a dude, because that's like a whole thing with guys, like how do you get a perfect dick pic? Like there's a whole fucking art to it. And then me and my wife were talking about it, and she's like, the way you gotta do is get someone to help. And I was like, wait, what? And then we talked about it, and it's like for some reason it ended up evolving into I'm gonna help you take a dick pic. And so then my wife like literally was the one taking the picture. And so it was a pretty goddamn good dick pic, but like obviously I didn't show the full on dick. But yeah.
I'm gonna start calling Jose Canseco actually because he doesn't realize the balls are there until it's too late.
Is that a steroid joke?
No, well, it could be, but you don't remember
Okay.
that there's like this famous clip of him like having a fly ball bounce off of his head, and I think it wound up being a home run.
I don't.
So Kyle, this is the way it goes. To Toad the jokes, you just kind of wait like 3 seconds and then go. Ha, ha.
Shut up, Reed. You laugh at most of my jokes.
Well, all of Toad's jokes
I
are a
just tried
1
to
to
be
a
polite.
3 or 8 to a 10. There's like nothing in between.
There's no in between. Yeah, dude, I totally feel that. I'm not quite good at the podcasting form when it comes to being funny. One of them in my shop, I'm pretty good at busting people's balls, but I don't know. It's just
We're not either.
I
We're
don't
just
know what happened.
retarded, so it just works.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes with the territory of being a libertarian as well. It was kind of funny you guys were talking about dick pics because I remember this one girl I used to have one night stands with. She would show me pictures. This dude added her on Snapchat, and all he would send her was pictures of his dick with shit drawn all around it. I mean, like he had like a Titanic drawn the one day with just his dick in Snapchat. It was actually kind of impressive.
And the dick was the iceberg.
It is interesting. Like when I think of a dick pic, I think of it because I'm 30, about to be 31 in like a month or so, 2 months, I guess. And like I think of dick pics from like before I was married, and like I've been married for like 10 years. So, but now with the new like filters and then like emojis and all sorts of shit, you could get pretty crazy with it. Like it's like that could be a game changer. I could see that. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, I in my previous life I never knew quite how to get the perfect dick pic because, like you said, it's pretty weird because there's the angles. Are you supposed to include the whole body? How do you pose? You know,
you
make
do
it
that
look
move
right.
where it's like the angle coming from like behind your dick, but then your face is in it too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
like
it makes
kind of over the shoulder.
Yeah, it makes your dick look huge, but it's
like
really
the
fucking
Thor
weird
thing.
because then you have this like creepy face in it as well.
Well, yeah, because you have to be like leaning back, basically, like lying back, so then like the dick is in the foreground, and then your face is in the back, like.
Yeah, like you could it's a complete trade-off. Like if you're rocking a little wiener, it's like hard. Do you do it or do you not? Because you can make like a 3-incher look like a foot long from that angle. But the problem is then you get the face in there,
That's what
and
Jared
it's just
from
like
Subway does.
a face in a dick pic is too much. You can't have a face in a dick pic. It's a complete no-no. But if you're already rocking a little one, it's like, dude, it's like, do you make this trade-off?
No, like, it can work. Like I said, it depends on the angle.
Well, didn't Jared get kind of taken down because he was fucking kids?
Oh,
No,
foot long. Okay,
yeah,
foot long.
yeah,
I
yeah.
see the connection.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, you got to kind of
It was a
think that.
Subway joke.
Well, yeah. Next to kids, it probably looks huge though. At least, right?
Yeah.
That's probably why he was doing it.
All right.
That's why people with small dicks always go after kids.
Yeah,
We should just imprison all people with small dicks. Sorry, guys.
Yep. Yeah.
That should have been an extra category on the bracket.
Small dicks.
Is it to scale though? Because like that's one of the things I got really going for me. Like mine looks huge just because the fact I'm short. So
Right.
like it's really
Right.
not that big.
Right, like some of it has to do with the ratio too, where it's like women will like think that because you're really short that you must.
Wait,
have a
are you
small
guys
dick
gonna
because of
steal
that.
another thing from Slurp Gang? Because that's their whole deal is the dick to height ratio thing.
Is
so.
it? I don't ever listen
Is
to
it?
them.
No,
I wouldn't know.
I don't listen to them.
I only know because I've been on the show before they were,
Well,
enemies or whatever.
Did you
If they-
compare?
Well,
I don't know.
didn't they ask you? Didn't you go on that show too, Clint, before they hated us?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably.
if they started doing that after we started talking about dick to ass ratio, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've been on
they're
every
the
show at
numbers.
this point, so I'm sure I was on there before they decided out of the blue to hate us. So whatever.
But dick to height ratio.
Do they hate us though? Like so far as Slurp Gang, what do we have? We have Nick. I mean, he has his block, but he doesn't really ever like talk shit. We got Ace.
The
Everyone
last
loves Ace. I love
the last
Ace.
episode I watched was the one I was on because I saw it on the computer screen.
I don't even
on the
watch,
other
so I don't
side.
even know.
I'm blocked by all of them except Ace at this point.
If
and I
they
just
hate
don't
me,
even
it's
know
like
why.
I don't know and I don't care. Like
They just have me blocked. I don't care if they hate me. I don't know if they hate me. But whatever.
You know, I've only seen Ace on Twitter arguing with people, but I hate to say it, but he's like the perfect example of an autistic libertarian.
So just remember, he's the best one out of all of them. So
I love
Yeah, he's better than most of them. Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why he does what he does, but I love Ace. I mean, I guess it's
Yeah,
good
so
he's
do
doing that. Like, I don't ever follow any of his threads because I'm just like, dude, what the fuck is this? This isn't like a debate forum. This is Twitter. But okay, you do you. Like, I feel like you either got to do one extreme or the other. Like, I will give him that. If you're gonna engage in debate on Twitter, you got to go one extreme or the other. And he completely embraces the one extreme. I embrace the other extreme. People try to debate with me. I just go, no, I'm not doing that. Like, it's not. No, you're gay. Like, no, we're not debating. You like, if I'm interested, maybe I'll invite you on my show, or I'll go on yours, or whatever. But I don't care enough to waste my day on Twitter because it's so annoying to have any sort of in-depth conversation on Twitter.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I enjoy it when he debates people that I firmly disagree with, like a neocon or something. When he's debating theory with like minor variants amongst the libertarian sphere, I could not hate it more. It's just
oh my god, you remember the homeless shit where he was like going to like homestead theory of like, you're like, dude, yeah, we are way too far out here. Who fucking cares?
I really
like, well, your theories sound very interesting, but this homeless dude has a needle hanging out of his arm and he's jerking off, and my kid wants to play on the fucking thing. So can we talk about the real world for a second? No.
He just homesteaded that trash can by shitting in it.
That's what I was gonna say. If the homeless person mixes his shit with the property, then it becomes his. I believe that's how it works.
Yeah, that was appeared to be the actual statement. It was wild.
Yeah, I mean it's public property, so he probably has a little bit of a point. But I'm just kind of like, I don't. Unless like I would have no problem having him on like a long forum and have that discussion. But it's just for me, it's just a simple aspect of doing it on Twitter. Like that's just cool if you want to do that, but I have shit to do.
Dude, I can't. I mean, the attention span of people is so low. Like no one even remembers Ghislaine Maxwell right now. People are forgetting about Putin because Elon Musk is the new bad guy. So like, hold on. Can you imagine like investing so much in a Twitter argument that literally nobody is going to fucking remember it that matters at all, like within 2 days? It's just like, who cares, dude? Like people don't even remember World War III is almost starting. They've already forgotten.
I mean, to be fair, we're literally podcasters, so I mean, same thing goes for that.
Well, our podcast episodes are going to be recorded in the congressional record, so I don't know what you're talking about. We've been the fucking world.
Yeah, we've been told that China's the number one enemy right now, and that's kind of what you keep seeing from all of these right wingers. That China's, Russia's just a distraction. So China's the number one enemy. We have to focus on China.
Comparatively, China is a way bigger threat than Russia.
Well, I agree until you start fucking around with the nuclear power, and that's the one who we're mostly kind of flirting around with.
Yeah, but China has nukes too. I mean,
but I mean, we're not
1.3 billion people and all of the production capacity of the world. There are I'm not saying that we should be afraid of China. I'm just saying if we're going to have something to be fear mongering about, it's crazy that we chose Russia to be it. Its economy is so tiny.
What about Iran? What about Iran? Is that one?
That's even crazier.
That's something that makes so much sense. I was just arguing with my uncle the last 2 days about Iran. Like he was just convinced that Iran is the number one threat to the United States, our biggest enemy, and they're just
China.
No, that is the least Kareem-looking motherfucker I've ever seen.
I cannot have a conversation with neocons about foreign policy, or like not even neocons, just like what was his name? That asshole that was on Fox News, Bill O'Reilly, like the Bill O'Reilly conservatives. I can't have a conversation with them.
Yeah. No, I don't. All my coworkers are boomer cons, so I'd like never talk foreign policy or economics with them just because they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. It's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, they're basically like the left when it comes to CDC guidance. Like just whatever they hear, they speak it. That's it. They don't have any actual thought that's going on behind it, and it drives me crazy.
See, I think the country that aided in flying airplanes into the World Trade Center should probably be considered pretty high on the enemy list, but that's just me. So,
That wasn't Iraq or Afghanistan?
Yeah. No, my uncle thought it was. He was like, Iran supported Saddam, or what did they say? Iran. He was like, Iran. He didn't know the difference between Hezbollah and Al Qaeda and ISIS. Like, it was all the same
Iran.
thing to him.
Yeah, Iran is a largely Shiite country, and
Right.
Saddam Hussein was a Sunni.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was Indian tech support that made the holograms. So
Well, I was told that the neo-Nazis in Ukraine are just that's a right-wing talking point. That's what I was told the other day when I was at the breakfast with a friend. And he really
it's kind of a right-wing talking point because it's a bunch of right-wing militia that are actually talking about it.
I mean, if something's a talking point, I hate that shit. We're like, well, this is a talking point. You're like, okay, but is it a true talking point? Like, who cares if it's a talking point?
Exactly.
Like when someone's like, that's anti-Semitic, it's like, okay, but is it true? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, like Saddam Hussein not having weapons of mass destruction was a Saddam talking point.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like, if you look at the amount of time that they were in the camps, and if you look at the amount of ovens they had, it just doesn't add up.
Here we go.
Wait, are we trying to get your YouTube removed too, Kyle, or your Facebook?
Well, I got 2 strikes so far. The one was an episode you were on.
Yeah, I did one of the strikes already. So
yeah,
if you can fit 30 cookies in one oven, and it takes this long to.
Wait, how many
Kyle,
Jewish bakers are there, and how many Jewish appliance store owners are there?
Kyle, with the episode Eric and I did on here, it got removed for bullying, right? Or for like
no, it was removed for harassment. They said we were harassing people,
we were
and also
harassing Epstein and his acolytes. So that's harassment.
Well, can you really harass a dead person?
Well, Les Wexner's still alive. We should probably leave that.
I don't know. Can you rape a dead person's corpse? I have no
If
idea.
speech can be violence, I'm pretty sure you can harass a dead person.
Dude, all right, real quick.
Wait, the Mormons harass dead people all the time. They baptize them like posthumously. That's harassment of dead people, I think.
Back on the Holocaust shit. Fucking all right. I just had to point out this genius fucking tweet that I don't think it really got a lot of reach, but I wish it did because it was actually genius.
I know which one this is. Yeah.
I don't know if you do. It was one of the guys in our Power Gang group chat, the Aaron guy, and he tweeted like the Auschwitz fucking like Twitter page posted something, and he said, and I think he quote tweeted him. It was like, fun fact, or it might not even be a quote tweet, but it was like, fun fact, the Auschwitz whatever memorial place has more followers than actually died at Auschwitz. Like, joke me the 6 million thing, but a lot of people don't realize that like not all of them died at Auschwitz, so it was actually true. Exactly. So it was like.
It was definitely true.
So it was one of those like, if that had like gotten really any sort of traction, that would have been such great bait because there'd be so many people offended, and it's like, yeah, but it's literally true. Like, even if we buy your narrative. So. Yeah.
Well, Jose, I thought you were gonna go with the tweet you made. It was completely out of context, but it just said 6 million. Too many or not enough or something.
That was
it was
good.
Too
That's
many,
right.
Not enough, or just right.
That was good. And then I did the one that was the Holocaust, and the only 2 options were based and awesome or fake and gay.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was one I'm proud of. Yeah, it was funny. We got some of our own kind that got offended by that because they thought it was serious. Like, if you understand it, I'm talking about like the number. Like, I mean, sure, you can interpret that as like I'm saying I want more people dead or whatever, but you could also interpret that as like, is the number correct?
Right. And my point was that denying the Holocaust is less bad than saying that it's awesome. So that was the whole point of that tweet.
Yeah.
Well, I got a 12-hour ban on Twitter because there was somebody that tweeted out saying guys and dude is gendered language or something like that. And then right after that, I quote tweeted it and I said, guys, it's time to fire up the gas chambers. Yeah, that caught me a 12-hour ban. That was my first one.
The only suspension I've ever caught was for calling a correctional officer, a black lady, a scumbag. I can't believe that was enough. Like, that still offends me because that's the nicest thing I can call someone who's a correctional
Is
officer.
that the nicest thing you've ever called a black person?
Maybe.
It does lead well into the topic, but yeah.
Let's hit it, dude.
All right, so let's do a. Let me make sure I can do this right because I'm not good at this.
Are you trying to screen share and you don't have any idea that you have?
No, dude, I told you I'm a tech retard.
The share button. Middle bottom. Yeah.
And then go to the Pornhub tab you have open.
That's right. Make sure you share it with audio.
Are we doing good? Okay, there we go.
Jesus.
Into the wormhole.
Are we good?
Just don't open your DMs accidentally.
Share ourselves, sharing ourselves.
So this was the tweets that kind of sparked this whole thing off. I'll just read it real quick for everybody listening. But we all know that nobody gets kicked off social media for being progressive, communists, or etc. Ever notice that no one gets kicked off for being a libertarian or an anarchist unless, in quotes, unless they call for violence, which they often do. Why is that? Yeah,
which they often do. I love that.
Right.
Well, I do have to admit he is describing me there because I can't, like, from my personal experience, what happened to me, I can't disagree because I said I was going to shoot someone if they came within 100 yards of my truck. So
you did, yeah. No,
it was self-defense, and it was directed at somebody who isn't real. So
that's true, but still, I was threatening violence technically.
Yeah.
So.
And then he put two more tweets, which are a little less important, but because the system doesn't view people just thinking it should delete itself as a threat, the only threat to the system is authentically conservative people, which is why they're the only people who get deplatformed or depersoned. Libertarians and anarchists will never actually take power because they're comfortable with the idea of what it would take. They sit idly back as their country burns and tell themselves abstractly it would be better if the state didn't exist. Rationalize cowardice. Okay. Let's see if I did that right. Perfect. Oh, look who's decided to join.
There he is.
Let's take it tweet by tweet if you don't
does
mind.
He have his gain turned up to a 10 or is it like down in normal person range?
Nah, he's muted.
TOPPLOBB.
Top looks like progressively blacker every time we see him now that he's in Florida.
All right. On the first tweet, the one about like us not kicked off, I'm pretty sure Tower Power Hour was it everyone except for Clint has lost a fucking account.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Mine was technically for threatening violence, though, I have to admit. So
mine, they never gave a specific reason for it at all. Cole has lost, I think, at least 3 accounts, and the Fat Dave one being the biggest one was he lost that one, I believe, for saying what was the quote again? It was something about that women should focus on the 3 C's. Cooking, cleaning, and cocksucking. Is that what it was? Coming. That's what it was. He got nuked.
Was that what he got nuked for?
Yeah.
Show me the lie.
Yeah.
It wasn't,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, it wasn't specifically targeted at anybody. It was obviously a joke.
Yeah, that was bait. 100% bait.
Yeah, I don't know how that one got him banned.
I don't remember what I got nuked for at all. Like, I think it was something pretty weak, but I don't think I called for violence if I recall, but it was one of those ones I wasn't surprised, but
Yeah, I really don't remember it.
Yeah, I kind of felt like after the 12-hour ban, well, actually for that tweet, I thought I was going to get completely nuked, but I was kind of surprised that I didn't. They just gave me a 12-hour ban. For you guys, when you got banned, was it just kind of like they got you a ban and then they fired you, or completely kicked you off?
No warnings. It was just boom.
Right, exactly.
Just fucking nuked.
Yep.
Yeah, and for me, they never told me why. I woke up on my birthday, suspended. I appealed it, and they sent this vague, generic email that I assume they just sent to everybody. That I posted what the email was on a reply to Reed's earlier.
Yeah, I think the first sentence is pretty clearly wrong. That no progressives or communists get banned. I think that's wrong. I'm certain that's false.
Progressive communists, I can buy that, but now there's a difference. You say progressive communist. Now, are you saying anarcho-communist? Are you saying anarcho like socialist? That's different. Now, if you're saying progressive communist, I think of your generic.
They don't know our exact ideology. Half of this shit is mechanized nukings when it's just like violence that gets reported and in context. It looks like it's not a joke or it looks like it's serious, whatever. Like, I don't believe that the bans are strictly along political lines at all. I really don't.
Right.
Yeah, no,
Also-
I really don't think they are either. And this, the way I kept kind of looking at this is that, okay, how are you going to define each and every single one of these political ideologies? And Elijah obviously considers himself more of a conservative, or else he wouldn't be kind of saying this. And my whole frustration with this thing is that it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where, you know, I really like Tommy Vex, right? He sang for Bad Wolves, but what has he done ever since he got thrown out of that band? All he says is, oh, I've been canceled. His one song, Cancel the King. It's constantly talking about cancel culture. And that's not to say that it doesn't exist, but look, hey, I'm canceled. I need you to buy my shirt. I need you to join Mug Club in case we get kicked off of here. And not to say that they won't, or that there's a possibility of that, but dude, it is a huge grift, and they really, really need this cancel culture to always be around, so that way they can kind of throw that in people's faces and say, hey, you need to subscribe, you need to pay me just because of this, because of cancel culture. When let's be honest here, some of these people are getting millions of views on each show, so I'm not really buying that you're canceled. In some regards, sure, but not entirely.
I will push back against the idea that this is purely a grift. If you're trying to run one of these operations as your full-time gig,
I don't mean that. I'm sorry to just clarify a little bit more. I think that it to a degree it is, and I agree that there is that there are certain times where it kind of happens, and I do believe that they believe what they're doing, but to a degree, they're definitely doing it to kind of get people more in their pockets.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a marketing tactic to try and get additional donations or merch sales and things like that. But it's also real in the sense that, like, if it weren't for the My Pillow guy, like Tucker Carlson probably would have been pulled off Fox News last year, because he's running an ad on every break because they couldn't get sponsors for the biggest nightly cable news show on TV maybe ever. So this is real shit. Like, it's definitely a real thing.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean,
it
to back up what Clint's saying a little bit, I think what you're saying that, like, yeah, and it is and it isn't a grift is what I'm kind of getting at. Like, I think it's you, Top. I think you got weird ass audio going on.
Your gain is fucking through the roof again. You goddamn Mexican.
Oh my god. Am I too loud?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
How about now?
That's better.
That's better.
All right. But
Thank
no,
you.
the way I see it is, for me, like, when it comes to like using Twitter or YouTube or whatever, I will censor myself to a little bit of a degree, but I don't want to do it to a point to where I'm not being authentic. And if it is going to impede on my being authentic, I will just say fuck it. And there is, I'm not gonna lie, like, even with when I got taken off Twitter, there is some grift to it. Like, and it's not that I did it on purpose. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm gonna get nuked, but it was like, you best believe when I fucking came back, I was definitely playing it up a little bit. Just like, say with Tower Power Hour, we just got our shit nuked off of YouTube the other day.
Yeah, we were supposed to grift prior to losing the YouTube channel, but you fucking maniacs couldn't do that even. You couldn't hold on long enough so we could grift about how we were imminently going to be canceled. So now we're going to lose something.
Yeah, well, someone kind of came at me a little bit on Twitter and was saying that, oh, well, you acknowledge cancel culture exists. It's like, yeah, of course it exists. But I have a hard time believing that someone like Candace Owens, Steven Crowder, the biggest conservative names on YouTube, who literally, you look at every single one of their videos, they got millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
You guys are really saying that you're canceled and that you're victims of cancel culture?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, originally, I didn't even buy the, because we heard for years, like, oh, my numbers are getting squashed or whatever. And I was honestly skeptical of it at first, because I was like, oh, shut up. Like, you got million. And then it started, like, really happening to a lot of people. So I don't know, like, I mean, because you'd see these dumb conservative memes, like, they banned this meme from Twitter, and it's a picture of Hillary with, like, shit on her skirt or something. And it's like, no, they didn't ban that from Twitter. Like, you'd see stuff like that. And then eventually you realize, like, oh, wow, they are actually, like, taking people out. So I don't know. There's, like, a grift, and then there's something real going on, and it's gotten worse.
He was using this to build towards, I think this is one of the later tweets in the thread, of the aspect of, oh, all these conservative voices being taken down or depersoned or whatever. And really, I would actually say, if we're going to play tit for tat, like, I actually say, like, our camp, probably you could make a better case for more people being depersoned than conservatives, because you brought up, like, Crowder and, like, what's her face? The Candace Owens.
Candace
like,
Owens.
I'm not saying they're controlled opposition, but like in effect, when it comes to like in this like context of this conversation, they kind of almost sort of are because they aren't being taken down. They are the other ones that, and they do play up like, oh, we're going to get taken down. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're not really saying anything that's threatening the fucking the bag. You know,
I don't think it's necessarily true that it's about narrative control in this particular aspect, simply because
that's why I said in fact.
But Babylon B, Tucker Carlson, they currently are suspended. So these are big. These are really big accounts.
Tucker's back.
Oh yes, okay. As of last week, they had been suspended for over a week. Okay. So it's like, these are really big figures, and I'm not saying it's going to break the bank or anything, but I completely understand. If I was in Steven Crowder's position, I'd be like, yeah, become a member of my mug club, because this gravy train could end at any moment, and that if that becomes my only income stream, like right now, it's just extra profit. But if he were to get banned everywhere, that would be the only way to continue to do what he's doing. I mean, look at Alex Jones and how he's been fucking nuked from everywhere.
Right. Alex, okay, so when you want to talk about depersoning people, look at someone like Ryan Dawson or Alex Jones, where they literally were denied from like PayPal, and even some banks, I'm sure, deny them for applications and stuff like that. I mean, you want to talk about cancel culture, that is canceled. Like, you are depersoned. You are done.
Can anyone actually name any right-wing personalities that have been depersoned aside from alt-right figures? Because I guarantee you, we had Elijah on the stream right now, like if we asked him, do you mean like Nick Fuentes? He'd be like, no, like he wouldn't want to claim him.
Right, Nick
like
Fuentes,
he wouldn't claim him as an authentic conservative.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, that's probably the only one I could really think of.
It is a big one,
but even then, was he really depersoned?
It's kind of a big one.
Like, he was taken off Twitter. That was
the biggest. No, Laura Loomer's been completely depersoned. And I don't see her as a alt-right. She's just kind of like an ugly right chick.
I'm pretty sure Trump was nuked. I'm pretty sure Trump was nuked across all social media. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was. I was being like depersoned.
I think he still has Facebook, but not.
They didn't shut down Trump's bank accounts, but for the president of the United States to get nuked from all these platforms,
wild.
That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Laura Loomer, I mean, I don't know enough about her, but she was really like, she was a conservative, but she was also pulling, if I remember correctly, she really was she was kind of touching on some third rails, and she was riding the line of she was riding the Ryan Dawson line, where she was really going after the people that really matters. I would say Lawrence, was she?
Lawrence
she was
on Twitter.
I don't know.
No.
What? Yeah, she's still on Twitter, actually.
She's on Twitter, and she's got some like pretty big.
Slight flex. I talk to Lauren Southern every day. She's good.
Do you? You're in those DMs.
Yeah. Word.
Nice.
A question. I don't know if you guys touched on this, but the fact that
does he sound like a cyborg to you guys?
Yeah, you sound.
It's not loud now, but it's
like you have a loose connection somewhere with someone.
Okay, so go ahead, Pop.
I hate it.
Unplug it and plug it back in, man.
That's terrible.
Yeah, shut it off and turn it on.
Yeah, exactly.
Do the regular IT guy thing.
Have you tried turning off and turning back on?
I need to buy a new mic. You know what? Maybe I'll just sign off and let you guys go.
I love you, Top.
All right, fuck you, Reed. See you later, guys.
It's very gay.
This lighting makes you look extra Jewy for some reason.
And his New York accent kind of adds to the Jewiness as well.
Well, this is
there we go.
He's a
libertarian. He's an anarchist.
Yeah.
He mostly identified.
He didn't get nuked until he started to talk about race and IQ. So.
Yes.
No. He was talking. No. He was talking about race and IQ for a very long time before he got nuked.
Well, it seems like
he didn't get nuked when he was just purely talking about like being an anarchist. He got nuked after.
But he was
he was talking about race and IQ back in like 2014, even. I mean, for a long time. So
he's closer to alt-right or libertarian than mainstream right, I would say.
Exactly.
What about,
absolutely.
What about
I agree
Gavin
with you, Cal,
McInnes?
but my point is he wasn't canceled when he was just an anarchist, is what I'm saying.
Well, he's been an anarchist the entire time, but go on.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That wasn't why he got nuked. I'm not even saying, and that's why with Laura Loomer, I don't think she got nuked because she was a conservative. I think she got nuked because she she was getting awfully close to some of the fucking kind of like Ryan Dawson type shit.
Didn't she like chain herself
shit like that?
She chained herself to like Twitter's headquarters or something, didn't she?
Yeah, wild shit like that. Which okay. Like, I guess I'd probably remove your Twitter too if I was Twitter at that point.
So Jose, you disagreed with this tweet more than anybody else. So I'd love to hear.
So much.
I'd love to hear your case. Play it on.
I would have to see one by one because every. The problem is like he's actually like building an argument here, and his beginning point is flawed, and so that like it's kind of like with Jenga when you have a shitty fucking foundation and you build upon it, like it just gets more and more wonky the higher up it goes. Like it's just shit from bottom to top. But it's the fact that his starting premise is trash. That very premise right there. If you want to bring it up, Kyle.
Right. Well, you can like kind of defeat that argument immediately by like just pointing out that like guys like Black Mutualist got banned from Twitter. Like
he deserved it though.
Yeah, but he's a leftist.
Yeah, well, Sky Daddy, she was a leftist, right? She's
a fan. But once again, there's different types of leftists. Like when I hear progressive / communist, I think like that, if we're doing the grid, I think the top of the grid, whereas they're on the bottom left, obviously. So.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think that is flawed. I think really what is going on here is that I think it's like the Tom Woods 3x5 index card type of thing. If you're outside of that index card, kind of in any way, then I think you're at risk of being banned or in some way.
The first half of this tweet could have been written by Ryan. This was actually like, remember when he like was angry at Dave? Like this is exactly the argument that was being made that anarchists are never going to be a threat because they're not legitimate or they're not like real or whatever. But
really, this is him putting on display how little he knows about anything about anarchists or libertarianism or the plethora of different praxis that we all argue about. Like, or even like for that, because the system correctly doesn't view people just thinking it should delete itself as a threat. One, you're saying libertarian or anarchist. A lot of libertarians would not agree with that. So, I mean, okay, for that, that's already fucked. The only threat to the system are authentically conservative people, which is nonsense. So they're only people who get deplatformed or in depersoned. They're not the only people who get deplatformed or depersoned. I would actually argue, like, for one, I don't even accept this paradigm, like as we've said, that it's because you're conservative, because you're libertarian, because you're anarchist. It's more what you're going on about. If
it's kind of like virtuous horseshoe theory, where people on the left will also have good opinions on certain things that are not allowed to be had. You're not allowed to have those opinions. Same with libertarians, like we're on the other side, or sometimes we're on both sides. So yeah, I agree with you. Actually, when I first read this, I didn't have the knee-jerk negative reaction you did, because I think there is something to be said for the truth that, like, if you're not playing in the game, they don't much worry about what you think. If you're not doing anything with your ideas, they really don't care. To an extent, I agree with them, which is part of the reason that I'm interested in getting involved with politics. Is like, I think that's how you actually have to affect some change. Unless you're a total collapsitarian, in which case, obviously, you can pick up the pieces once it all falls apart.
Jose is a big advocate of that, of getting politically involved. I think.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Indeed.
I mean, with the last one, if you want to bring it up, it's easier to have it there because we are kind of picking it apart.
Well,
I mean, and I can kind of sympathize somewhat with this argument, but I mean, I don't know. Like the last one, you're bringing up again. Oh my God.
Okay, we're good.
I mean, I get what
and anarchists will never actually take power because they are uncomfortable with the idea of that.
This is his best point. This is his
I will
best
agree.
point in
That's
the whole
best
thread.
point. I still disagree with it. Like they'll never actually take power. What do you mean by take power? Take power of what? Like it's like we're okay. Well, I mean, I know some of us here want to like take more political power, if you will, but I actually think we're kind of playing different games. Of course, a lot of people like sure, maybe on a local level. Oh, there I am. Look, what is it? And conservatives do what? Make short-term games and pat themselves, short-term illusory games and pat themselves in the back for it. Like that was my big, like, because that's the thing. Like, what are the really conservatives even doing? Like, I know Reed can attest this. He touches on a lot. It's just every 10 years they flip-flop. The fucking the conservatives will be shit. The lefties will be shit. And I know a lot of the posts will get upset because they like to.
Conservatives just lose ground, man. Like, look where we are right now. in like
Well, no,
5
they'll gain
years.
ground, but it's usually to what Jose's saying. It'll fucking end up benefiting the left later on. So, like the Terror Wars and the Patriot Act, that was
Right.
the fucking right. But then
I think Toad means gain ground in terms of liberty.
No,
Sure,
well,
okay.
well, I'm saying
They
like,
don't do
well,
that
I
now.
think just like culturally and their ideas, they just continue to give it up and lose ground over and over again to the point where now they're basically arguing for like the most reasonable thing possible, which is like, I don't know, like
Don't indoctrinate my kid.
Yeah, exactly.
to
Yeah.
mutilation.
Don't groom children. Don't change your child's gender. It's like that's a pretty reasonable position to take, and that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, Clint, when he was on the show, and we kind of touched on this a little bit. I don't think Trump himself was necessarily a threat to the system. It was more so what he represented and what he brought out in people. Because when you have 50,000 people out here in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Pennsylvania, that go up to go see Trump and they're chanting "I love you" to him, that represents a very, very strong cultural presence. And I think everybody here would agree that you have to change the culture before you can really change politics in a significant way. And this is why I've kind of been iffy about the whole Elon Musk thing as well, is because there's a culture at Twitter that's going to enforce these rules. You're going to have to change that entire culture before you can just throw somebody in at the top and say, hey, this is the way it's going to be. Unless he really cleans house, which Clint and I kind of covered this as well. But you're going to really have to clean house because it's the culture at Twitter. It doesn't matter who's.
He has to fire almost everybody. Like
right, exactly.
That is not overstated. Like almost everybody has to go at Twitter if he's going to implement any of the grand sweeping reforms that we would like to see. You know, whether or not that's his actual end game, we're going to find out. But if he thinks he's going to do it by just switching out the CEO, forget about it.
That's a good
because
point
it's private. There may not even be a CEO. I don't even.
That know. I mean, not to go on a tangent, but it's a good point about the whole DeSantis thing. I was actually listening to a PQ fucking stream with Orrin McIntyre and I believe Yarvin the other day, and that was one thing he was pointing on. I actually found myself agreeing with him a lot. One thing Yarvin was talking about was that it was the whole DeSantis thing. Well, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I don't really care. He said he was like, this is almost entirely symbolic. Like the thing is, he doesn't go far enough. Like all this is really, in a lot of ways, is kind of giving ground for the left to have something to have some sort of validity to their camp for them being upset. And they didn't go far enough. Like if you went far enough and they were able to shore up it, that'd be one thing. But the problem is, like, you're going and saying, hey, you guys can't do this, but then you have this whole culture, you know, the school administrators, the teachers, etc. It's like, okay, you're saying you can't do this, but the people who are going to enforce it are going to be those people who already are inculcated with that culture. So of what use is this?
That was what I was going to say, and it was the same thing. Clint made a tweet about it the other day about, it's not enough K through 3. You're not allowed to teach this. Like, you got to get your kids out of the school. And I think that's where the conservatives have always failed. They've never thought like, okay, it's time to abandon whatever it is. They're always about like patching it up and like trying to get short-term gains to reverse it. And it's like, stop. It's okay to do those things. It's not like that's, that's
they're
bad.
Reformists. It's built into them to believe that the system is reformable, and this is why they believe in the Constitution so strongly, is because they believe in checks and balances, and that ultimately justice will win the day. And I don't know, other than a bunch of relatively peaceful protesters spending a year in jail without trial, what else it'll take for them to be convinced that you're not going to get political justice in the system, and if you do, it may not be in your lifetime. So buckle in, motherfuckers.
And then the other thing is, like, they get a tiny, tiny, tiny victory, and they will magnify it as though they've won the war. Like, yes, we did this thing, and it's like, okay. Like,
well, they're doing that with Elon Musk right now.
Yeah,
so,
that's a great example. Like,
in fairness, though, that has not been DeSantis's MO. Like,
I'm saying conservatives in general throughout history. That's what they've. Or like the last.
I grant you that, but that's why I'm saying this feels like a tidal shift. Like, there's a chance that the conservatives actually stay on the offensive for once in their fucking lifetimes, and I think that is beneficial to the libertarian community, because the lines that they're drawing are, well, you may not agree with their tactics. Like, on the consequentialist argumentation, I think it's a pretty in alignment with what we would actually like to see. I don't want it. Like, I would prefer that public schools get abolished, or at a minimum that the teachers unions get fucking destroyed. But in the meantime, I certainly don't want an entire generation of young kids thinking that there's something wrong with them because their teacher told them that,
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
like-
It's fine
but-
to do the small reforms, but not to like be okay leaving it at that. And maybe you're right. Maybe DeSantis will keep going or whatever. But historically, it's always been that way. They'll get some tiny, ridiculously stupid victory and act like they've won. And then, 5 years later, it's just a wash because nothing actually changed.
No, you're right. And they have to keep going. But my point is with DeSantis is that he stopped the vaccine mandates in Florida and now he stopped this. So it's like there is more. There is a track record to say this guy is not stopping here. I grant Yarvin that he should go further, though. Of course.
Right.
I mean, I do like the symbolism of it. I do like what it signals. I don't know. It is like, especially looking at a specific thing. Obviously, if you look at it in whole, and even with this specific one, like, yes, it may not actually like if we're just looking at the school thing, like I think we're all somewhat in agreement that like, okay, he didn't go far enough. It's probably not going to work out the way it's kind of being perceived as it's going to work. Like, it probably really won't change the curriculum to any degree that'll really, at least I don't think will make a difference. It's still going to be the same people teaching it, and it's still going to leak through. If someone wants to teach some bullshit, I mean, yeah, sure, there'll probably be some people who see consequences here and there, but I do like what it signals. And the thing is, like, while it may not be ideal so far as us being libertarians, we still can take it's happening whether we want to or not. We're not the one making these decisions, so you take it and like, yeah, you can have your objections, but at the end of the day, like it's kind of like I forget. I used to have a saying, like, when it comes to like any shit that goes down, like it's informational. Like you can take the information from that and proceed from it. It allows you to be able to identify who your allies are, who your enemies are. Like, because with this, the great thing about this is it does signal who really is that concerned about the fact that oh no, they can't teach gender theory to kids. So it does a good job of putting a spotlight on bad actors and a spotlight on good actors. Whether this specific action works out in the intended way it was supposed to is okay. Yeah, we can say maybe it does or it doesn't, and whatever. I mean, we have no control over that either way. So at the end of the day, like, we got to kind of take what we can out of it and proceed from there. So
I agree with that. And like each one of these things that's happened recently is kind of, it's been good to like expose who the people are who don't actually agree with us. So if you found somebody who was bad on either COVID or the Ukraine shit or now this like Disney thing, you're kind of weeding those people out in a way.
Yeah.
I think a great example of the conservatives not going far enough is they should have deported all of the Hispanics, like not even just the immigrants, but just, oh, hey, Top, you're back. I'm sorry. I didn't even notice you popped back in.
I'm troubleshooting, so how do I sound?
It sounds good.
Better.
Yeah, you actually sound good. Yeah.
I mean, you sound gay, but it's good. So
That's
well,
a given.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Well, he's definitely gay right now because he's in the closet. So
Yeah.
I was saying before you left, I don't know if you caught that the lighting makes your nose look pronounced and more hook-like, so very gooey.
I'm actually at my wife's vanity, which is pretty cool. It has like a backlight.
Is that why
You can turn
Jews
it
eat
off,
fish
turn it
all the
back on.
time?
Well, so there's two quick points. One, I kind of disagree with you that this won't make a difference at all, because even like the way conservatives operate is that if something's against the rules, they feel enabled to speak out against it. So like the fact that these teachers are no longer allowed to will encourage the parents to intervene where they see it occurring. So I think that it will in fact curb some of this curriculum. Obviously, it's not going to get rid of it, all of it. Some of the true believers are going to find ways to work around the system. That's inevitable.
Clint's pro-Constitution now, man. The Constitution, those would be the rules.
No, I'm not pro-Constitution. I'm describing how
conservatives
Republicans behave.
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
That's how they view things. And then secondarily, I think that what a lot of conservatives realized, as well as many libertarians, including myself, is that the judicial review system is too delayed to deal with the tyranny of the left. And ultimately, like the only thing that has been able to stop them over the past 2 years has been year-long or year-delayed reviews from the Supreme Court or whatever else. And basically, that's been it. So this is the first time that the Republicans are actually saying, fuck the courts, we're going on the attack. we're going to implement legal maneuvers to try and stop this in the interim before the Supreme Court has to intervene. So that to me is necessary.
Yeah, so the Supreme Court only exists to not let unconstitutional things go on for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
It's
not good enough.
If some state decides to do a genocide, the Supreme Court would be like, okay, we'll get back to you, and by the
time everyone's done.
Yeah,
it's crazy that they don't prioritize cases based off of the severity of the infringement upon the Constitution. Like they need to have some sort. Like I already have given my thesis on what they ought to do.
Government workers, bro. This is how everything operates.
But Clint, I agree with what you just said. I do think sometimes it will matter. My point is more like that. God, I had a good example. Forgot it. It's just the idea that the people that are enforcing it, they're going to find ways around it. Like,
I think by and large, you're right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. There will be examples, but overall, like, I know what I was going to say. It's to bring it back to Elon and Twitter. Talcum X put some fucking thing out today where it was like, he was saying that he talked
pissed that he's back. By the way,
yeah,
go ahead.
He said he talked to people at Apple or whatever, and I don't know what to think of it or if it's true, and I don't mean to go on some tangent if this sparks something. He was saying that I guess like they were gonna like take Twitter off the stores if they don't control hate speech, and then the point being is who determines what hate speech is like, and it's the same thing. It's kind of the same thing here when it comes to it literally is basically a 1-for-1 when it comes to like the don't say gay or whatever. Obviously it's not what it is, but like when it comes to the teachers and what they can or can't say to their kids, it will be interpreted by those who are already inculcated with that culture. And yes, there will be conservatives that may throw up the flag here and there, but the people who are going to be the ones interpreting whether that is right or wrong, unless it's incredibly flagrant, they're probably for the most part will be like, well, I don't know if that really constitutes an infringement here, so I don't know.
I think we all agree that that's why the permanent fix is getting rid of state-run schools because people will all have a different interpretation of the rules. So the only way that you can know is like, okay, I like the way this school is teaching kids, so I'm going to send my kids there. Where if it's all up to subjective interpretation, then it gets ridiculous. Because some parents would be infuriated if their kid is taught 6-day creation as science, and then others want that. And then some are horrified that they're being taught about gay people when they're 4 or whatever, and then other people want that. And so, it's a mess. It's the tragedy of the commons.
Well, it's undeniably true that Apple and these other companies are at least threatening to remove these Twitter if they don't censor hate speech, because that's what happened with Gab, and that's what happened temporarily with Parler, maybe even permanently. I'm not sure, but that's also what
happened with Odyssey.
Yeah, Odyssey, and also Amazon Web Services, AWS, kicked Parler off for a while. So it's like. Yeah, they like I don't have any doubt. Like that's not a conspiracy theory. These companies have already demonstrated like if you don't play ball, if you don't do what we say, then we will not let you play in our arena. And they have immense power. And this is why Elon's move is so enormous, because he's actually signaling like, one, there's market demand for free speech. That's important. We need there to be a market demand for that, like desperately. So God willing, he's the real deal. But two, I forgot it. Go ahead.
You had a good point too. I can tell you did.
I had a great point. I forgot it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the other part is that Elon Musk is a free market actor, right? As free market is when it comes to like the bill. But that's kind of the breed he seems like more of a free speech guy. You kind of see what I'm saying, where like mostly libertarian leaning people kind of have admiration for him. So it's not.
So isn't he like a super subsidized individual?
But you know what? The truth is though, if any of us were to become a billionaire, we would all play the game. We would all take the subsidies to try and
probably.
So like, I don't think that means that he's, because a lot of the really black-pilled anarchists in particular are like, this guy fucking takes all these subsidies and he's your hero. It's like, look, man, if you want to be this guy, you can't get to this level without doing that. You can't.
Right.
So like
on a smaller level, I used to work for the MTA when I lived in New York, and that's a state organization. and you know Jose was in the military, and I worked there until I was able to segue my talents and and make money elsewhere, and until I was viable. So
that took a lot of work too. No, I'm just kidding, Tom.
Yeah, fuck you, Reed. No, but yeah, I don't know what his next step is, but it could be a stepping stone to get what he wants, which is Twitter, or who knows. So I'm just watching.
And you got to keep in mind too, he's trying to break into an oligopolist market where there's a handful of car makers, and he's trying to break in there. That like the only way you can do it basically is to try and find some competitive advantage, and that's what he did. He found a competitive advantage, and yes, he got tax money to do so, but he would have never been able to play in that arena if not for that. Like I really believe that. So I think that like it just comes with the game.
Well, that's
this is one thing I touch on a lot. This is one thing I push a lot. Is I think too often our kind are binary thinkers. As much as we like to go on about the duopoly and all that shit, like a lot of us are too often too binary thinkers because we like to think we have this perfect philosophy, and we kind of do, but then it's like perfectly laid out, and it's like, okay, not really. Like, say for example, the one I always go, the public-private divide, and this applies to Elon here, especially the subsidies. The public-private divide is not a binary. I don't care what anyone fucking says, and this applies to like the Disney thing, all that shit. Sure. Like, for example, if you're trying to tell me a corporation, like a megacorp, a fucking Disney or whatever, is a fucking free market entity, you're
Amazon that's kicking people off their servers, they're the biggest,
Now, are they a state? Are they a state? No. Are they private? No. Like, okay, well, let's be real. I know it sounds gay, the word spectrum, but these things exist along a spectrum, and
it's weird. So, like, it's weird that libertarians who are on the spectrum can't identify the spectrum of businesses.
So sometimes you have to use a little bit of I don't know, common sense, intuition, judgment to be able to make these determinations. So with somebody like Elon, like, yes, obviously be wary, but like if you can't just be some fucking autistic libertarian and look at him and be like, well, he took subsidies, so he's a fucking here's a state actor.
Even if he's like deeply involved with Epstein, like from the past, which he could be, like that's completely possible. And
I don't think he is actually, but go ahead.
Well, he could be, and Maria Farmers talked about it. So I don't know, like maybe,
there was like
but
one
maybe not.
Picture of him with Ghislaine
Maxwell.
I don't know. Yeah. Actually, this is
okay,
how I
hold on though. Like even if
that.
that's all true, even if he's like deep in it, which I have no idea if he is or isn't, or how deep it goes if it does. What does that have to do with free speech on Twitter? That's the thing. This is what libertarians suck at. They have to fully embrace someone or fully reject someone,
right?
Where the whole point of Ron Paul all the time has been like issue coalitions. If someone's doing something that helps you on a certain area, like, okay, that one thing they're doing is good. But
he vied with Dennis Kucinich, who sucked ass on like 80% of shit, but he was like, he's great on this. Like, well, I don't know when we lost that.
I don't know. We lost it somewhere though, man.
What if Jared from Subway bought Twitter and made it into like a massively free speech platform?
I could promise you he wouldn't get rid of the child porn on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that would be trending.
We're going to send out top. I cut you.
Carlin would think it was awesome. That is what you're saying.
I was gonna ask Kyle that, like, so when I think about this kind of stuff and these autistic libertarians who are like, left or right or just very binary, red or not necessarily red or blue, but you know what I mean. There's a yes or a no.
Yeah.
When I went to college and I minored in music, and
so did I.
Yeah. So I minored in like song composition and theory basically, but you learn the rules, and it feels like after you learn the rules, you're in this box, and it's hard to break out of it. So I'm sure Kyle understands, but nothing interesting happens in that box.
Actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reed. No, you don't play. Shut up, Reed. So,
piano and guitar.
Oh yeah.
Really?
We got a jam.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, but once you start to break the rules, like the most interesting bands are breaking rules, are playing blue notes or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And it's like that with anything competitive. You're playing baseball, whatever, you learn the rules thoroughly and then learn how to bend them in a way that's interesting to benefit you. So if libertarians aren't doing it, we know the rules of the game. You know them better than any other political philosophy. Learn how to get what you want. And call it a moral, call me a statist, Carolyn, who gives a shit. Did I get what I wanted?
Don't ever trust a bitch with any portion of her head shaved. Unless she has
That's a good rule.
I'm running with that from now on because the more and more I see these bitches with shaved heads, the less I trust them.
Yeah, I don't trust Jada Pinkett Smith.
And
so.
Carolyn, I'm not calling you a bitch. I like you very much in person, but I think that you're awful on Twitter. But
Same.
I don't know. Learn how to get. We have to learn how to get what we want, and even if that means bending the rules a little bit. I could see Reed twitching here because I like to step outside of this box. I cannot be a pure libertarian because the whole time I've been following this, look at where this has gotten us.
Well, no, I agree with you in some sense. I think that some people they're mistaking what winning is. So I was arguing with people who want to start censoring the left off of Twitter.
Yeah, that's right.
And I was saying, no, hold on though. Like I was saying, you're not going to win this battle. Think of what that's done to the right over the last couple of years. Do you think the right has like rolled over and been like, okay, I give up? So a lot of like the post-libertarians and a lot of right-wingers, they want to punish the left. And I don't mean like Fauci and even Disney or like whatever. I mean like your neighbor who voted for Joe Biden. They want to weaponize them and turn them into something fanatic and radical, like everything that they already hate. I think that's dumb. I think that's short-sighted, and I don't think that makes you win.
Well,
No, that's a great point, actually.
So I'm a big fan of Robert's conquest law, where if something's not explicitly right-wing, it will turn left. I mean, look at the Mises Caucus, Clint.
I actually think that's horseshit, but we can go.
I don't know. It's kind of proving itself.
Okay. It's a definitions game. Define right. Like what is right? Because what happens whenever every single person,
right?
Yeah, every single person who plays this game, they'll make some definition and they'll kind of move. They'll pick and choose when they want this thing to be right, and if something doesn't follow this, like that's because it wasn't right. Like
that was fake, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how about you
that's
say
actually leftism.
Yeah. I will say the state, the state or progressivism or whatever you want. Like if you, I know a lot of people want to call that left or right. Like yes, there are things that are cancer that will pervade in organizations. But go on.
Okay, yeah,
I know what you mean.
Let's just say cancer. Let's just say cancer. So
right.
The Mises Caucus outwardly endorsing a socialist over someone that we like. I know this is like my whole big thing. This
who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. This to me is That to me is an act of leftism or whatever you want to call it, or it's just cancer.
It's bitch fuck cockism.
Yeah, once you dip your toe in that, it'll take over. And Elon Musk tweeted today, like, we want to make the alt-right or the far right as uncomfortable as the far left. And I just don't see how you can do both of those things at the same time. I'm glad I don't have that decision, but
well, to be fair, I think what he meant was just that we're going to let whatever. So whoever gets offended by what,
right? I think
I know a lot of people took that to mean some sort of intentionality behind that. I think what he's saying is, I'm just going to let people say what the fuck they want. If that makes the left offended,
the trannies stay on Twitter, and we're going to let the neo-Nazis stay on Twitter, basically. So you're going
to let them fight it out, man.
That sounds great.
Angry.
They're very few of both.
Sounds like Tower Gang.
Yeah, dude. That's right. We're a bunch of trannies and Nazis. That's what we're known for.
Well, Top is actually making a very Jose-esque argument here because he's saying that once you get involved in politics, you'll see just more and more people will trend towards bitch fuck cockism, for lack of a
my main argument.
I think
How long did it
it's
take
not even
before
just
the
politics. It's just any fucking organized group in general. So
how long did it take?
You guys have this read all wrong, and I don't even know if I should be clarifying this if I'm giving up too much private information, but there's a reason that they didn't want to go with Josh, and it just has to do with the position that he's pursuing. That's it. It's not they prefer him ideologically, politically, like his belief system 100%, but it's just about the role. That's it. So
you guys
have extrapolated this into some like conspiracy to like keep him out, and it's just
my issue isn't whether or not Josh. My issue was Eric Rodstrip.
Right.
Yes. They didn't endorse him, but they were tacitly or sort of being like, well, we may not run anybody against you. Like
they want to extend an olive branch,
nudge,
to that side of the party that hates your guts.
Yeah, exactly.
That has already tried to steal like 2 organizations from you, I believe.
Well,
2 states. How many?
Let me
New Hampshire. What else?
Let me give you some more additional information after having been on the ground and met with some of our detractors. A lot of these people are really reasonable, and they've been lied to. They've been lied to about what we believe in and what
that
we're
was
about.
me originally. Remember over
Exactly.
a year ago?
Exactly.
I wasn't a woke leftist, but I just thought I was misreading the situation. So
yeah, I want to compliment Clint. Well, Clint, finish up, and then I want to compliment your point after that.
Well, I was just going to say, I sit down with these people, and it's funny because like Scott Horton got into this like knockdown drag out fight with this really drunk lady who was talking about the 12 shots thing with Dave. And Scott's just not the diplomat. He doesn't have the patience for it. So he's just like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And he, he's like, you don't know. And he's out, So I swoop in. I swoop in. Hold on. I swoop in and I sit down and I talk to this lady for like 20 minutes.
You fucked her, Clint?
No, I thought about it, but I didn't. And
he only got to 11 shots. It was only 11. That's why I didn't fuck her.
She was still able to not consent. So I was like, nah, you keep it moving, you psycho. So anyways, I sit down with her. I talk for 20 minutes. She gets up, she leaves. She's happy. She's totally chilled out about this topic. Like there is this need. There's this tribal factionalism, and I totally get it because I am part of it. I am a tribal person. I feel like I need to ride with my people. I defend you guys constantly because of it. But simultaneously, there's this belief once you're in a tribe that the other tribe cannot understand you, can't speak to you, you can't get across your points, blah, blah, blah. It's just not true. There are probably 5% of the LP that are fucking terrible and they ought to leave. But I'm telling you, it is nowhere near as many as it sounds as if you're talking about when you say the people that aren't in the Mises Caucus, because that's going to be 40% of the party. And there's no way that 40% of this party is like not prioritizing ending the wars, ending the war on drugs, ending the blah, 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 all the things we actually care about. So
yeah, I get you.
This is the nature of politics, though. That's the nature of politics. Like, I mean, whether like Eric Rodstrap is a rational person, and maybe we can talk to him. We can be like, hey, can you change your position on this? Can you change? Are you reasonable? Do you prioritize this? At the end of the day, this is politics, and it literally is a power game. Even if you are just like, oh, we're just doing this for messaging, whatever. Like, or even if he is a completely rational person, at the end of the day, the perception to the people outside in the world is, if this is an olive branch in another part of the party, how this is perceived to people is, oh, this is kind of a crack in the dam. And so this will attract people to be like, oh, olive branch. And I just think from a political perspective, and this is part of why I don't think we should go the political route. I think that's going to fall apart. I mean, whether it was intentional or not, or I just think this is the nature of how politics work. And if you aren't going to shore things up like solid as fuck, it will slowly deteriorate. Okay, and if you want to call that left, if you want to call that right, or if you want to call that progressivism, whatever,
even if things are shored up like completely, it'll still deteriorate.
Progressivism,
yeah. So putting just like that small weird move there is like, it's just not a good look. I'm going to tweet.
I grant you that.
Jose has accelerated me more quickly towards egoism, or well, definitely agorism, than Dave Smith has accelerated me towards anarchy.
So here in Pennsylvania, at least, I don't speak about anywhere else just because I don't know that well. Typically, a lot of these people are kind of given really, really bad information because there's a few people who ran the party at one point that no longer run the party here in Pennsylvania, that were ginning up a lot of hatred against the people who are coming in for the Mises Caucus and cause a lot of division. And the little like 5% of people, literally, if you look at the Keystone Party of Pennsylvania, that's all the libertarians who left the LPPA and went over and started their own party. Their Facebook page only has like 7 people on it. Right? Can
you imagine making an LP offshoot? How gay is that?
Right.
Go on.
Okay. Yeah. That's my point, though, is that all these bad actors had left, and all the people who are just kind of neutral, being fed bad information, are kind of sticking around to do good work and hopefully help the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania grow and become better. We have a lot of great people here as it is already. And I've said in multiple shows that if this route fails, then I'll consider something else. I will be the first person to admit that it fails. But here in Pennsylvania,
me too, dude.
Right. Right. Yeah. And we shouldn't be married to anyone.
Let's be fair, though. That's what everyone says, though. No one's going to admit that if this fails, I'll keep trying it in vain. Like,
all right. See you, Reed.
See you guys later.
I'm not trying to be a dick or be pedantic, but I feel like that's something everyone says, though. Like no one's gonna say that even if this fails, I'm gonna keep on pushing on, just in vain, just to keep pushing on. there is some aspect of, and human nature's a bitch of like confirmation bias that happens with us. Even for me, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with agorism, and it's confirmation bias.
The reason I think you're wrong is because so many of the people that are joining the LP now are the Ron Paul people that refuse to be in the LP because they hated the trajectory of things, and we're now getting involved because we think we can course correct. If we can't course correct, there is not a fucking chance in hell, Jose, that I'm going to be involved with this. If we don't even win in Reno, if Dave doesn't run, I'm out. I'm done. I have way better things to do with my life than to support someone like Joe Jorgensen or some bullshit like that. It ain't happening. And I feel like a ton of people in the Mises Caucus are like that.
My point wasn't that you guys wouldn't. It's more just that like that's something anyone would say.
Right. That wasn't.
I actually think you guys would. But
that wasn't my point either. I think you guys are going to win too. And I was just going to say that I think probably like I just don't really agree with what their arguments are against like Josh Smith, because I think it's like, oh, he's running for vice chair or whatever, and I believe that their arguments against him are basically arguments that he's not professional enough essentially. I just think that's kind of
they said he's too fat.
It wasn't that he wasn't professional enough.
I think it's like a busy unreliable. They think
it's a secretarial job essentially. Like you're just going to be doing paperwork and office work, and that's not Josh's strength. He is better as a spokesperson, and that's what he ought to be focused on. And that's why they were saying that they want him in the at-large position as opposed to the VC. I'm telling you, there is really rock solid logic behind it. They didn't handle it well. It looks terrible. I grant you all of that. But this spinning it into some big thing where like we're letting leftists infiltrate. They think that Rod Sepp is great at that role for that actual purpose, and it serves the power, tactical power purpose of saying, look, we are signaling to the people that think that we are, dead set against them, that we're not totally dead set against you. But it's not really a meaningful offer.
I think the people that think you're dead set against them actually think you should be signaling you're dead set against them. To be honest.
That's
my opinion. But I'm not involved, so I don't care.
But you don't want 40% of the party to say this 60% that's taking over wants you guys out, because we don't want all of them out. We just want the bad actors out, and the bad actors will get out as soon as we stop messaging woke shit.
Right. I'm just saying Rod Sepp, I believe, is one of them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
and once again, my issue. I guess my issue. Like, I actually think this is all flawed. You guys know my perspective, but my issue, or if I was to play this politics game, my issue wouldn't be that they didn't pick Josh. My issue would be that they were signaling for Rod Sepp.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't care. I mean, I like Josh. Josh is a great guy. He's cool. Yeah. But like, I get that logic completely. The logic I don't get is why the fuck are you in any way whatsoever even signaling it? And like, even if say you can't find a good candidate to run there or whatever, like sure, but there was some of the signaling that was being given of that, like, they may not have explicitly endorsed, but it was being kind of hinted that they were like, we're gonna kind of give this to you, maybe. At the very least, they shouldn't have done that, even if they weren't gonna run someone against him. Some of the signaling was off there. I mean, I think they should have ran. Even if it was Josh, like, even if they don't think he's ideal for his position, I think it's better than someone that is been shown to be flawed ideologically. Look, man, and I get it for the position, the purpose of the position, or what have you. But at the end of the day, he's a leadership position within the party. People look at that for signaling of what the party is. So yeah.
Right. And it's a position that basically requires you to be a massive autist. And you're telling me you can't find anybody in the Libertarian Party that is that and that hasn't supported HRT for children and didn't just go on some debate thing and promote gun control.
There's a ton of autists that are not good at keeping good notes and doing secretarial work.
My point though is I think that's secondary. Like, I get it, that is,
but not for that role. It isn't though.
I disagree. I think. Okay, I get it. That is the role, but at the end of the day, like, it is a leadership position, and this is what people see when they see your party. So I think what matters more is like what they are. Like, Josh Smith, while he may not be good at what the position entails, he would have been preferable to Rod's rep. Even though, like, where the fuck his name is.
Hey, this is what you do.
That's when you get a strep throat from sucking too much.
If you're smart, this is what you do. You endorse Josh Smith for vice chair, and his strength is not secretary work. Then you create a position of secretary, and you say it in the most feminine way, and then you have Eric Rodstep be secretary. Simple as that. It's an unpaid position. This is all
they
titling.
They have secretary position. I believe it's Karen Ann Harlow.
No, it's secretary to the chair. That's the position. Secretary, chair bitch. And then you just here you go. Here's your stuff. If it's about messaging, it's about titling, it's about signaling power. Jose's correct, and that's it. But my main issue that I have with it is just the drama, man. It's just so gay.
Yeah, well, and
y'all are playing into it. Y'all are buying the narrative that because they wanted to have a fucking olive branch as the VC, that means that they're not the real deal, and it's just not true. If you have fucking Angela McArdle as the chair and you have Dave Smith as the candidate,
they're the real deal.
That party doesn't kick the
they're the real deal. The problem is I mean, we talked about like short-term, long-term earlier. This is a long-term thing. You're signaling that with this peace offering to this progressive ideology, if you will, or whatever the fuck you want to call the Rodsteps of the world. You are signaling to them that, hey, you're welcome here. Come on in. If anything, you need to be exclusionary as possible. And I get it. It's like, oh no, we may lose 60%. I mean, if I'm playing the political game, I'd rather have a fucking baller ass 40% than a fucking like a bitch ass like 100%. Like,
yes.
Well, that's a different argument.
And a bitch ass 100% that's gonna go to shit 10 years from now.
Well, then you're just the Democrats. So
yeah, if you're gonna go that route, then okay, I agree with your tactical decisions. I think that you are again discounting the 40% where there's like 90% of that 40% are fucking good libertarians, and we can actually win them back and not have to convert our belief system at 1 inch. So that's the tactical reasoning behind it. You guys can disagree with it, but you're reading way too much into it.
At the end of the day, we know 13% commit 52% of the.
I was
80% of the time it works every time.
I'm a big fan of like the Old Testament God, where he was like, go in there and you see those people, kill them all, kill the goats, kill the children. I'm like, the goats, kill the goats. He's like, they're not clean. They're not clean. Kill everything. Start new. And that's your shit there, and start over. So when they're like, oh, they're saying they're gonna take over, the Mises Caucus should be like, yes, that's it. What the fuck are we talking about here? Yeah, we're gonna take over. And if you want to join us, you can. But this is our shit now.
I feel like that's kind of what it is, but
But then what's with the peace offering?
Then don't because it's still signaling.
I'm talking about getting
on a warpath against all 40% that are disagreement, that are dissenters from our viewpoint.
Like, I don't think they should be on a warpath, but to the idea of signaling against the fact they're showing up. But go on, yeah. I mean, I also prefer the warpath, but yeah.
And I'm actually going to Reno, and I am doing it because of the existence of the Mises Caucus. So,
yeah, well, and for the record, I've already said I am a delegate, and I'm going to go vote for Angela, and I'm going to go vote for Josh.
Me too.
Like, I'm riding with you guys.
I'm a little bit doubting it now, honestly.
Well, you can if you want. You can if you want. But I'm telling you,
I'm fucking with you. I believe you're going to vote with Josh.
I am. I've said it already, and I believe it. And I think that he's earned that spot because he has put in the groundwork to fucking help this get off the ground, and he deserves some fucking recognition for that. That being said, I understand the tactics that went into the internals of this, and I get it. I really think it's overblown. That's all.
I get it too. I just think they were wrong. So, and it kind of makes me concerned for the future. I mean, I actually thought one of the things this was actually one of the things I was calling from the beginning, that the way that like bureaucracy works, that way political organizations work, that it will slowly decay. And I actually was expecting this way down the line. And I know it's one tiny little thing, but like I was not expecting even a tiny chink in the armor for like years from now.
Like, we're Yal. The Mises Caucus is Yal, and they're going to say, well, there you go. And we'll point to exactly where it started. You can go to this podcast and you see Clint defending Eric Rodstep, saying he's going to vote for him.
I was just about to say that all chinks are tiny, from what I've heard. So.
Here we go.
Shit.
And for the record, I strongly disagree with Eric Rodstep's position on enforcing gun laws. It's fucking insane. It's insane that he said that. I can't believe he said that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anything else you guys got, or you guys want to do plugs and let's
herpes? Wait.
Oh no! Listen, I had STDs once. I think it's the first time I ever said that publicly. It's not fun, dude.
Oh, I had chlamydia once. Yeah.
Well, I got it from having sex with my ex-girlfriend's best friend, and that one kind of came back to bite me. I took some fucking piss relievers, and I was pissing neon orange. But yeah, dude, it sucks. I don't recommend it.
No, I just banged some
I'll
whore.
do it.
Oh, I was
just
super
joking.
drunk. The condom broke, and I remember in my head being like, I was like really, really drunk, and like part of me deep down knew it broke, but like when it just immediately just gets way better, and you're really drunk, like you don't want to stop. You're just like, wow, this got really good, and like so I'm just like, what are you doing down there in my head? Like, man, you're doing something different, and like part of me knew, but I was like. And it was funny. I'm like, don't look down, because you're gonna see the little fucking pieces flapping in the wind. But like, I was just like, no, you're good, dog. Just keep on going. And then that was the time I got committed.
Before
And
we
now
sign
he's
off,
a dead.
yeah, no.
That's right. It
Before
was
we
his
sign
wife,
off,
obviously.
did you guys cover this whole Ministry of Truth thing with Joe Biden? No, I don't. I only saw it briefly. Does
No,
anyone
what?
know? Like,
I don't know
quickly
anything about it.
What is it?
I'm sorry.
I don't know, Clint.
It's only been floated, so like we don't have any actual writing to dig into what it's going to be. But they're talking about having a federal, office that dictates what can be allowed on all internet sites. Basically like a mechanism for regulating disinformation, quote unquote, whatever the fuck that is.
One that's creepy. Please tell me they're not.
No shit.
All right. Is the Ministry of Truth term, is that just like a right-wing
Is that what they
term we
named
came
it?
up with?
No,
or is that what they named it?
It's from 1984, isn't it?
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I just want to be sure they didn't name it that. Like,
No, they didn't, but it's basically
okay,
that.
all
dude.
right. Yeah, no, I get
Yeah,
it.
that
That
is what
I
it
just want to be
is.
sure.
It's called the Department of Truth.
It's like the don't say gay bill. Like, it's like if DeSantis actually named that, I'd be like, what the fuck? But, although it would be kind of genius.
It doesn't even say gay in the text at all, so it has nothing to do with it.
Something like
Don't say
Department of
faggot.
Disinformation.
Yeah, it's got to be Department of something. But yeah, man, oh my gosh.
That is
Okay,
creepy.
so that's
Hold on.
legit. That's weird.
Hold on, I got it right here. It is
The
the
Department of
Disinformation
Double
Governance Board.
Oh.
Oh, a board.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
dedicated to countering misinformation. As if they don't already have their CIA operatives working on that 24/7. Now they're going to have an actual department to handle it. It's like, Jesus Christ.
But guys, we'll fix it in the system. Let's take it over.
Yeah, right.
Stupid fucking conservatives.
was that branch that woman who looks like a tranny was appointed the head of, or is that something else?
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
know
think
what
that
she
is.
was.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Oh,
Holy shit.
Jesus.
No way.
Wow.
Him,
I think I did
her.
see some bitch that looked like she got like smacked with a brick floating around on Twitter today.
Yeah, well, she's going to be smacking us with a brick if we talk about the I word, early COVID treatment. Anyways, I don't want to get you nuked, man.
ISIS? What?
I don't think they care about that anymore. You probably could. Like, no one
Yeah.
gives a shit about the coup
Yeah,
anymore.
see, this is Jose again. I don't know. Just roll the dice. It's not your
Yeah,
channel.
fuck it. It's not my channel.
That's right.
You guys are good. All right, I guess let's get rocking and rolling out of here then.
At Liberty Lock Pod, Liberty Lockdown on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere else, and pick up our merch like this, but it's probably not from TopLobsta. Is it from TopLobsta? I don't know. Go to toplobsta.com. TOPLOBSTA.com.
That one's mine.
Hell
Yeah.
yes.
This
There we go.
is tops as well, right here.
Oh, this is
We're
top.
all
Yeah.
rocking it, dude.
We got Tower
Yeah.
Gang.
I let
Get
you
your shit together.
The only time I don't wear Tops merch on fucking podcasts is when it's been a while since I've done laundry. That's the only time.
Exactly, dude.
all the fucking time. First off, if you're watching the show, go to fucking Odyssey. Go fucking follow Tower Power Hour. That's what we need. We need you on there. We're on life support right now. We're gonna have to hold off until we can figure something out, because I genuinely
and
do
buy
believe,
these mugs.
Yeah, I genuinely
Right.
do believe we do have something beautiful and magical with Tower Power Hour. It's just more just keeping it going. Keeping it going. That's all we gotta do. We need you guys to go to Odyssey. You know, the more we get Odyssey bumping, the better it'll be too. I mean, we were talking about maybe finding ways to evade around YouTube. But yeah, I do think we got something magical with Tower Power Hour. So definitely go check it out.
We are all in at Odyssey, folks. Please, please, please go to Odyssey, subscribe there, and watch us there, because like Odyssey is a fledgling operation, but it's fucking growing exponentially. And if we can push the algo on our side, we can actually become like one of the biggest shows over on Odyssey. And as Odyssey grows, we'll grow with it. So like that could be huge for us. It may actually be a blessing in disguise that we got new from YouTube when we did.
Yeah, we just synced up. Odyssey just synced up the Babylon Bee. So I don't know if they've announced it yet, but whatever, man.
Shit's happening over there, man.
Yeah,
it's
Top
going
knows what
down.
the fuck he wants.
Yeah, and for now we are we're only live on Odyssey and I guess Twitter for now, but we are also I do upload the episodes to Anchor, so we are still on Spotify in video form, and we're on like iTunes, Stitcher, and shit. But I don't know how long that's gonna last.
That won't last. Just go to fucking Odyssey, folks.
I got a good idea. So
SEE.
stay around for after the chat. I'm gonna run this by you guys. But anyway, TopLobsta _ on Twitter. TopLobsta, like right down there. Everywhere else, TopLobsta.com. You can buy all the T-shirts or whatever the fuck.
Jose,
Thank you guys.
No way, Jose. Go check out my podcast. But I would definitely rather you go check out Tower Power. I like my show. It's serious theory stuff. If you're into agorism stuff, but really Tower Power Hour is what I really want you to go fucking do if you're watching this podcast. But yeah, go check out my podcast. Follow me on Twitter at 2020 No Way Jose. Or is it no? Yeah, 2020 No Way Jose. Go follow at Tower Gang Pod on Twitter, because that'll be, I think, where we'll be able to leverage a lot of our power is on Twitter, because we're actually getting a decent following with Twitter, and now we're not so scared now that we have Elon coming in. So we somehow were able to hold on to Twitter and not go too fucking hard as long as we've had that fucking account.
Yeah, I think
Somehow.
a little more brazen than I perhaps would have been, because I felt like I was going to get nuked, but so far I haven't seen that many people saying they got nuked on Twitter. So I don't know. Maybe we're lucky.
I would say don't go ham yet, guys. Elon's not completely running shit yet. We've already seen people get nuked. So
Right, he's
I'm
not
a-
even
I-
close to running it.
No,
Not
I
even
know.
close. It'll be 4 to 6 months before he's like even made any changes at all. So
If I got
everyone
no
needs-
no
chill
N
out.
bombs yet. Hold the line. Hold the line. Just wait.
We can do that in the tower. So
Just fill your drafts with all the N bombs that you want to say, and then as soon
just
as it changes, drop 'em.
unload in like 4 to 6 months. Yeah,
Scheduled
Tower
for
God-
6 months from now to drop.
Exactly.
I'm Tower God Toad on Twitter because I did get suspended most recently out of any of us. So trying to get my account back, not looking good. Tower God Toad. Follow Tower Power Hour. We got a show coming up tomorrow night with Crypt Daddy, where we're doing the Elite 8, the Elimination 8. I don't know what we want to call it.
Yo, if y'all don't know Crypt Daddy, do not miss this episode. This guy is one of the funniest
Honestly,
comics on the planet. This is
He's
the second time he's
funniest
been on
comic
a show.
on wheels.
Yeah, 100% that.
Easily.
And he will be on Odyssey exclusively tomorrow. So go to Odyssey and subscribe right this
Hell
fucking
yeah.
second.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I hope Elon gives us all our accounts back. Mine, like, I've gone to the point where I'm almost back to my original following, so I probably won't even use my new account, my old account if it comes back. But the rest of these guys were like their current following, except for Clint. Their current, because he didn't ever lose an account. Their current following is dwarfed by their original account. So it'll be fucking beautiful if Elon brings them all back. It'll be like that moment in Dragon Ball when he finally hits Super Saiyan, and you're like, oh, like you're like, holy shit. It'll be great when we get all our accounts
We
back.
will be so much more powerful if we can get like, and then y'all will all have like double accounts with decent followings or significant followings, so it'll be badass.
My original Top Lobster wasn't shit, but I just want the Top Lobster without the underscore.
I know,
all I
right?
want back. Just give it back, please.
Nice. All right, guys. K Matovcik on Twitter, KMATOVCIK. And until next time, everybody, take care.
Peace.
And I got Judge.